Can you imagine? Welcome back to Jeff Koinange. Senator Mutula Kilonzo says that when he grows up, he wants to be Senator.
No, you know.
All right, well, hold on. Let's go back to Madaraka Day event. We're in Kisumu City.
Yeah.
It's an incredible atmosphere and ambience.
Electric.
It's electric. That's the word. It's electric. So yes, Deputy President comes on. He does what he does, and he introduces his boss. Isn't it just fair and right for the president to turn around and say, hey, this man is his backyard, former prime minister. See how
he shared his time.
Imagine. What is wrong with that, Senator?
No, for me, I think the best case scenario would have been for former prime minister to have been called before deputy president. I think that's the protocol. Number two, secondly, and most importantly, we saw a minister from South Africa referring to former prime minister as is it president? Mm-hmm. Surely you get the impression that that lady was there purposely to prop up Raila Odinga. Of course, surely.
Senator, that's a stretch.
No,
that's a stretch.
No, a minister referring to Raila as president.
No, but you know, it's a slip.
Yeah.
And by the way, Sisulu, if you know the Sisulu is a very famous name in South Africa, so maybe she just slipped.
Yeah.
Twice. Once, yes, but twice. So I don't know.
Now she called him president. Did he become president? I mean, come on, guys.
Oh, okay, fine. It's okay. But
things that make you not sleep at night. Surely.
Okay, it's okay. You don't mind, by the way.
It's okay.
It's no issue.
No.
None. Whatsoever.
And by the way, again, we come back to Kondele.
Yeah.
Look what happened with the deputy president.
Yeah.
They demanded his vehicle convoy stop, and he addresses them, or at least, an Salimia.
Yeah.
What was wrong with that? Despite the whole,
COVID maneno.
Yeah, but still, you can see how popular the man is on the ground.
Yes, indeed. I tell you, he is. He's the hustler nation.
Yes.
He's a philosopher.
You have just messed the show.
It was going so well.
Oh, this show has gone south.
No, it is true.
I will never hear the end of his.
The political philosophy of William Ruto of Hustler Nation.
Yes.
It is something that is gels, rhymes with all persons of this republic. It doesn't matter whether you are a Luo, or a Kikuyu, or a Kalenjin, or a Kamba. Look, by the way, and I was telling you when we were taking a break, here I am, a Kikuyu, voting for deputy presidents of this republic. For the first time now you are seeing Kikuyu strongly supporting an Kikuyu, like myself. Here I am. Yeah, to me that is progress. That's the Kenya we want. A Kenya where you find a Kikuyu politician is pushing an agenda for a non-Kikuyu. I think that's the Kenya we want.
When this man was majority whip, this man was majority whip, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, he was not like this.
Exactly. The better it is. It's never too late to do the right thing.
Okay. All right. It's never too late.
If Kangata was to take you to the market, Jeff, I would plead with you to run away. Run away quickly.
No. Is he going to sell me in the market?
It's going to sell you and sell even your parents and everything else. I mean, what is he saying?
No.
He's talking about himself.
Mutula Kilonzo here, with his pro-BBI sentiments, there's no doubt, he is pushing an agenda of Kalonzo, his tribesman, right?
He didn't say that.
No, it goes without saying. It goes without saying.
Well, how so?
Yeah.
Of course, Kalonzo supported BBI, so he had to support BBI. Remember his friend called the senator for Kitui, Wambua. I remember what he said before voting yes for BBI. He's supporting BBI on the basis of he wants to support Okoa Kenya. So you find politics of Kenya are tribal based.
Yeah, true.
But for the first time you find Tanga, we want to detribalize politics.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Even by the way, you're sweating saying just those words.
No. It's a conviction. No, it's a conviction, by the way. When you join Hustler Nation, you feel you can now, it's a cause. You are ready to fight for it up to the bitter end.
By the way, the president yesterday said that any future political formations involving Raila, he wants to be a part of. Was that an endorsement? Do you think it was a direct endorsement of former Prime Minister?
It was just a vote of confidence, I think. Yeah, it's a vote of confidence. Because, I mean, give it to him. I mentioned to you the National Accord. The National Accord after the 2007. Those people who were opposed thought that he was in the National Accord to the 2010 so that he becomes president. He has actually demonstrated that he can be in a cause that does not benefit him directly, that you don't reap benefit, or alternatively is not in the cause so that somebody else loses. So I think that's what the president was saying. Was just simply saying that he has demonstrated that he's a national leader. That is, I think, what if I interpret it correctly.
What do you think, Senator? What do you think? You think he endorsed Raila Odinga yesterday or going forward?
He did not say that in express words, but by implication, clearly one gets that impression. And for me, of course, definitely I cannot support Raila Odinga. I don't support his politics. And therefore, I'm a little bit unhappy when I see Jubilee Party moving towards Raila's corner. For me, we have spent so many years fighting against Raila Odinga. And then to do a 360 roundabout and now seems like you are indirectly supporting Raila Odinga is very unfair for your supporters who have supported you 100% to exclude ODM and NASA. You find then when we see a situation where good things seems to be happening to NASA and Raila Odinga to the exclusion of supporters of Jubilee who supported Jubilee initially. When we see, for instance, major luminaries of Jubilee Party like Moses Kuria, Rigathi Gachagua, they have been shunted out of power. In fact, they are facing political prosecution. You feel it. You feel it. When you see, on the other hand, people like Junet Mohammed, people like Raila Odinga are the ones now who are lecturing us. Those of us who fought so hard to form this government. It's very unfair.
Yeah, that's politics for you. That's politics at the end of the day. By the way, speaking of politics, the president was in a county, in a region that probably didn't throw one vote at him or for him in the last election.
Yeah.
Less than 4 years later, he's there in the region.
And they receive him like a hero.
He's received like a hero. What do you think of that, by the way?
If you remember, even the boycott that we did after the nullification of the presidential election, the largest boycott was in Nyanza. Migori was a no-fly zone. Not walking, fly, you couldn't even fly there. So you see people who, and Kangata does not mention that the reason they don't like Raila Amolo Odinga is the ethnicization of politics in Central. It's something that they cannot remove. Now, for you to lose, it's actually, Jeff, for you to lose in politicians are famous for ignoring places where they lost. Very famous. For you to go to places where people threw stones at you, people called you names, etc., is actually an act beyond magnanimity. But for purposes of a country, when a president is elected, becomes the president of winners and losers. So the minute you extend a hand to Kalonzo Musyoka, who was your competitor, and he lost to Raila Odinga, who was your competitor and lost, Wetangula, etc., is a person who understands when you go to the top, you bring everybody on board. That's what it means. But when they talk about exclusion, they're not saying that roads are not being done in Central, or they're not being done in Rift Valley. They still have the largest projects. We're talking about Arrow and Camarera, a big, huge dam that was supposed to be done under this administration. So the point is that that is the sort of politics you're looking at. To the extent that you fight so much in politics, and when you lose, you extend a hand to your brothers on the other side and say, we want one Kenya. That is the way to demonstrate it. Not go back to your tribal conclave and say, by the way, this thing was ours. We fought for it. We are going to make sure that this place becomes better than everybody else.
And let's face it, Senator, Luo Nyanza had been neglected for so many years.
Absolutely.
So many. Deliberately or otherwise.
Deliberately.
And now it's turned around literally overnight. Come on, you have to give credit where it's due.
No, let me support all efforts that this government has done to help the people of Nyanza. They deserve development just like any other part of this republic. In fact, that's so positive. But let me correct something my friend has said. The idea that the people of Central Kenya dislike Raila Odinga because of ethnicity is not true at all.
It is?
It has nothing to do with that. In fact, can you look at 2008, 2009? Between Raila Odinga and William Ruto, who was more unpopular in our region? Maybe I would say William Ruto. But how come Ruto has become so popular in our region? It has everything to do with what we call political laziness. Yes, Raila Odinga has been staying in Nairobi, waiting for some endorsement, some tosha from the political kingpins, Kikuyu, the so-called political kingpins from Kikuyu land based in Nairobi.
Are you serious?
Of course, of course. In fact, that's the reason why he is pivoting towards now the executive, because he is waiting for a tosha. But do you know what Ruto did? He was wise. He knew all humans are good people. He does not believe in strongholds. He believes in human dignity. He decided to come and engage with the people of Central directly. He came to launch our projects. He came to our churches. We became his friends. Now he's one of us. So the day people in Nairobi, Kikuyu Kingpin, started telling us, hey, stop befriending this guy, the public in Kikuyu land said no. Why? He's a good man. They refused to turn against him.
So why
they refused to turn? So for me, Raila Odinga, if he wanted to get support in our region, simple. Come to us, engage the people directly. Yeah? Come to our weddings, come to our funerals, become our friends, but don't sit in Nairobi waiting for a tosha. So it's about political laziness. When you stay in Nairobi waiting for some endorsement, this other person comes directly and engages with the people. Surely you're going to love this second person.
Okay, so if the former Prime Minister gets into a handshake with the Deputy President now, what will you say?
We have no problem.
He's waiting for tosha. Can you imagine Kangata speaking so ill about Baba?
No. For me, it's not about ill. I'm just giving some very good tips to Raila Odinga. Yeah.
To talk to you.
Not to me. Come to Murang'a, come to Kiambu, go to Meru. Go there, create networks, become friends with the people directly.
But Baba
don't stay in Nairobi.
All these places, Senator.
Yes. No.
Come on.
Let me tell you, do you know William Ruto? More people have seen William Ruto on one-on-one in our region more than they have seen His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta. I can tell you there was a time when I was a member of the National Assembly. William Ruto came into a village called Keria, right inside Kiharu constituency. He promised a road. It was delivered. Those people voted for me as a block. It's called Muhoiru Wateri. And because of that, by the way, that is one of the key reasons I became a senator, because that road was done. People were happy with the deputy president and with me. President has never been to that village. Leave alone president. Even the governor, I doubt whether he has been to that very tiny village of Keria. So the point is, and I've realized in politics, if you want to go far, don't stay in Nairobi waiting to get an endorsement by the tribal kingpins. People are good people. So engage directly.
Kangata is saying that he expects the president to be in every village. I mean, what sort of logic is that? It's just not possible.
No, I don't mean president. I mean, if you are Kalonzo Musyoka, if you are Musalia Mudavadi, if you are Raila, come talk to the people directly.
In your village, every village
you make of course, you are lazy, exactly. You hear they don't want to do the hard work. They don't want. They want to stay in Nairobi. They are waiting
you
for
got a road, you got elected.
Come directly.
It doesn't
talk
apply
to the people. Talk to the people directly.
What's the name of the village again?
It's called Keria, Muhoiru Wateri in Murang'a.
Okay, Jeff, you have a nice phone. Google that.
I can tell you, since independence, no other person of such caliber has stepped in Keria, in Kiharu constituency. a deputy president. So the day those people saw a deputy president, they loved him. So if Raila Odinga wanted to get votes from that region, they don't know him, they don't know whether he's short, whether he's black, they have never seen him. I can tell you, deputy president has traversed thousands of Kikuyu villages like nobody's business. And that's the reason why people love him. He's one of us.
So why do you fear a one-on-one? Let's say it's a two-horse race next year. Let's say Deputy President William Ruto, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga.
We don't fear. We are happy. We are ready. And we shall win.
You gave Kangata a very good platform to promote his kingpin for purposes of what did you call the place?
Keria. In Mogoiru Ateri. And I can tell you that road now is tarmacked.
Still tarmacked.
You see,
80%.
The point of development that we want for the country is where you don't need a deputy president to come to your village so that you get a tarmac road, or the president to step into your village so that you, because how many villages can these people go to? That is the sort of problems we have with the Jubilee government. Patronage, that you have to do this, you have to worship somebody so that you get a road. If you don't worship them, you don't get a road. It's unfair. It's unfair to the public, and that's why a lot of the large part of this country is suffering because of this sort of politics. He promised a road, he brought it. So therefore, if you didn't go with him, so therefore any person who opposed him doesn't have a road, for example, like the Nyeri MP. That sort of thing. It's bad politics. That's the sort of politics we don't want. And therefore, the idea of good governance, inclusivity, proximity to power, changing the way the country is governed is a very good way, and I would encourage Senator Hangata to get into. He was in the bad one, he just jumped ship, but that is where he was, and that is the country we are looking forward to, where a president sits in Nairobi and ensures that this country is balanced in terms of development, in terms of places that have been marginalized. You make sure everybody can have a highway like the ones that are going to very many places, but an equal development. Jeff, that is just small things to ask for our country.
Before I go to the magic call, I have to ask you both this question. What do you see what people, critics call the increased militarization of certain parastatals, certain bodies? Look, for instance, KMC. You saw the shipyard in Kisumu, Nairobi Metropolitan Services. What do you think? The president turning more to the men and women in uniform?
Yes, I see a problem in that.
Why?
First is failure to adhere to various court orders have been issued regarding such matters. If you are a country that believes in a rule of law, that respects the judiciary, we need to adhere to a court order unless it is vacated.
Court order, do you mean like the KMC?
Exactly.
I talked to the Defense Cabinet Secretary last week. She says everything had been adhered to.
No, I disagree with her. And for me, that's a contempt of court. Be that as it may, maybe we go to the main point. We are aware of countries which have gone into problems once they merge military functions and civilian functions. A good example is like Egypt. Egypt is a country where military controls almost 50-60% of the entire economy. Then it means democracy will never be consolidated. Yeah.
But they are performing, Senator. You can see they are performing. General Badi in Nairobi, he's performing.
No,
KMC is going to be turned around.
Let me tell you one thing. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. They may perform in the short term, but in the long term, first they'll get an appetite to stay into those institutions, of course. And assume, for instance, they do something wrong. You can't fight or oversight military. By the way, in fact, that's even another problem. You know, in Parliament, we are the one who do oversight of governments. But there are some areas, even if we have that power, we don't step into military expenditure. I wonder even how we shall oversight such institutions, because they'll be told these are security confidential votes. So you allow that space to go becoming small and small. They enter into civil functions. You are unable to oversight them, even parliament. They now start wanting more and more. You become like Egypt. That democracy will never be consolidated.
By the way, there's nothing wrong with it. I don't know if you've ever been to Cairo or Sharm el-Sheikh.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't even compare Egypt to...
No, I can tell you Egypt would be far. Of course, it's better than Kenya, there's no doubt about it. But if it was a fully functioning democracy, it will be like Turkey or even Qatar. You must ensure you don't allow people with the power of the gun, what we call the monopoly of violence, to get into civil functions. Otherwise, the day they'll become corrupt, you can't do anything to them.
Senator, your thoughts about that?
This is an indictment on government, number one. That, for example, KMC, and now I speak for livestock farmers before I address the question. Prior to military getting operational mandate of KMC, people used to wait 6 months, 7 months, 8 months before they are paid. In fact, at some point, we were supposed to decommission the plant and sell it, which presupposes that there are people, functionaries in government, who have deliberately made sure that KMC doesn't work for their own interest. Now they are doing about 1,000 cows a week, and people are being paid within 72 hours. Now, for the people who had livestock, my neighbors in Kajiado, who during drought, about 20,000 cows are all over Makueni, have an opportunity of selling their cows. We have an opportunity of even getting, because of importing even beef. Dubai is buying meat from Egypt and Australia. Now, what does that say about government? The president has lost trust even in his own administration. The one that Kangata supported vehemently, that the Ministry of Agriculture cannot perform, that the Ministry of Agriculture doesn't have the sort of discipline that you find in military, because they didn't go to work with guns. You know, he's talking about monopoly of violence. They didn't go to work with tanks or bazookas or anything. They just went to work with discipline. There's discipline. So there's lack of discipline in the administration, and therefore that weakness in the administration should be addressed. Should be addressed so that you do not have it. What is it that they are doing differently? The military officers, some of whom I know at a personal level, are Kenyans, and they have the interest of Kenyans at heart as military officers, and they have the discipline of ensuring something is functioning. So, as we criticize, they have proved that it can function. I even posed a question one time. Why don't we allow them to run, for example, KQ? It's a loss-making organization. See whether it can make, some little profit.
Yeah.
Because we as Kenyans are interested in institutions that are working. What I would expect Senator Kangata here, who is a hustler, is to protect the hustlers who are doing livestock. And there are many from Northeastern, Kinaweli and others, who don't know what to do with their livestock. But now they can sell their livestock and earn a living. That is one of the things that we have been unable to do. Every time we are doing, for example, when we are doing BBI and this gentleman was there, we amended part of the clauses to include livestock in some of the articles. Yeah. Livestock production, because they have been ignored for a long time. So, whilst it is not an ideal situation, Jeff, it is not ideal to have our institutions run in that fashion. It's not ideal at all. It just paints a lack of trust in the system. It just paints a parallel system which we cannot address as a country, and it might lead to a problem, because in the absence of the president after 1 year, what will you do when the institutions are collapsing and the other president doesn't believe in that sort of method of working? So I think that every entry point of that organization should be at exceptional circumstances. And you can see that the end in this case justifies the means, but it's not an ideal situation. But you ask the ordinary farmer and the ordinary workers who work there, who are my friends, they actually are saying, long live the king. They are getting salaries. The people who are taking their life are saying, continue whatever it is that you are doing, we are happy.
You talk about KMC now.
KMC.
They are thrilled. I mean, they are happy.
Absolutely. So it is us, the legislators, and the people who can make law and do the correct thing, who should be doing the correct thing. Why have we waited for so long as Parliament to ensure that we have not put the Ministry of Agriculture to task and the Ministry of Livestock to task about KMC? The idea that you can actually move livestock and the SGR passes just outside KMC to Mombasa and other places. If we can get a quarantine, I remember sitting in a meeting where one of the ministers in UAE was saying, why don't you give us a quarantine zone where we can be importing livestock from Kenya? Wouldn't that be a good thing to have a slice of beef somewhere in London from KMC Nairobi? It's a good thing, but the method of working is bad, and it points to weaknesses in the system, in the government, which Kangata promoted.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the irony.
Yes.
It's the irony, Senator.
Yeah.
No,
Because, there's lack of trust.
Yes.
No, you must understand how a capitalistic society operates. When an industry underperforms, the solution is not to add more government or to militarize the government. A good example is like in public broadcasting. When there were a problem, the solution is not sending soldiers to KBC. You give them the Iran KBC.
But KBC is
you
not
open up. No, I'm giving you an example.
It's a loss-making.
Exactly.
It has been for years.
Exactly. So I'm telling you.
compare KBC with
KMC.
No, it's the same.
I think you got the letters wrong.
No, the
The
point
C's
is,
are confusing you.
The point is,
Yes.
KBC is loss-making. So the solution is not to send soldiers to them, it's to open up that market. That's
To
why
what?
you have Royal Media here, which is a good company. Yeah, when Telkom became a loss-making company, the solution is not to send soldiers to manage Telecom.
It's
you
to
open up,
privatize.
to open up the market. You bring experts and good investors to support Safaricom. You create employment. You create innovations. That's how modern economies are run.
And what's the problem with KMC for you? What's the problem?
Yeah, for
Farmers
me,
are being paid in 72 hours.
No. I'm telling you, in the short term, that will happen, which is good.
Yeah.
But in the mid-term, in the short term, the military man will get the same appetite to do bad things, and you have no mechanism of doing anything against them. They'll say this is a security issue.
All right, gentlemen.
They'll shoot you. Yeah, you can't question them.
Let's go to the magic wall. Tony Mogira says, constitutions do much more than establish a government and regulate its relationships with citizens. In many countries have also become crisis management tools. Kenya needs to have disciplined leaders by giving judiciary its independence. You agree?
Absolutely.
Yes. Good.
Because we're indisciplined. Is that what it is?
Absolutely. We're rogue.
Yeah. Skipleting says the rule of law and natural justice principle must be adhered to by everyone. Judiciary is the last lifeline in the administration of justice.
Tick.
Abdul Razak says, Senator Mutula and Senator Kangata, if politicians are ever objective, ask them, how come if one is on the ruling camp, is always blind about the real issues affecting the common man?
Ask Kangata.
No, ask him. Ask
Kangata. I've never been in a ruling camp.
Ask him.
Majority whip.
Majority whip. Kangata.
No.
Ask him.
Yes, I can tell you.
How did he?
I can tell you. The things were going very well in this Jubilee government.
When you were majority whip?
Yeah.
No, until the day of the handshake.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
telling you, things were going very well.
You say March 9th, 2018, everything changed.
Yeah.
Because
Because
stopped.
someone entered the bedroom where you were.
No, because you see what happened? The focus is
And
no
kicked you
longer
out of
about
bed.
creating jobs for the young people. It's no longer about public housing. It's no longer about healthcare. It's about BBI.
So you just felt excluded, right?
Yeah.
No,
Jilted.
it's about BBI.
Jilted.
No. Change of course
Kiwarud.
and priority. No, priority.
Mwangi Joseph says, Kenyans don't fight because of bad politics. People fight because of bad economy. Fix the economy. Let everyone with the mind of their own, mind their own business. Let's try to fix the economy this time.
Did I say that?
You said the economy.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I say that. BBI is not a priority.
Kuja Elliot says, I still don't know whether to support BBI or not. What if we fixed electoral process, reduced the number of constituencies, implemented the current constitution to the letter? Would we not fix issues raised by Handshake?
Yes, absolutely. Good idea.
Always good ideas out there. Omosh Sly says, ask Kangata if he believes the dream of a prosperous Kenya can only happen when William Ruto is the president. While he still sits in parliament, why can't he help with legislation?
Good question.
My legislations, which are progressive, have passed in the Senate, but once they went to the National Assembly, they were torpedoed.
I love that word. They were in the National Assembly.
Yeah, imagine. A good example is like the County Ward Development Fund bill, a very progressive bill, which would have ensured that counties' resources are devolved down to the people at the mashinani level. But now we shifted focus from such progressive legislations to BBI politics.
Okay, Frederick Baraza. Jeff, with or without Building Bridges initiative, as a country we need to come up with mechanisms that will better the lives of Kenyans. Let's solve ujinga, umaskini na ugonjwa. True.
The things that we said at independence.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we are still doing even now.
And yesterday was Madaraka Day.
Imagine.
So 58 years later.
We are talking about ugonjwa, umaskini na ufala. It's sad. It's sad.
Very sad.
Yeah.
Hilda Njero says, to Mutula Kilonzo's point that the president visited a region where he received no vote from, isn't that the true meaning and intent of BBI? Shows we don't need a constitutional amendment to achieve national unity. All we need is mindset change by our leaders. Will they ever change? Will our leaders ever change?
Exactly.
Will
My
they
point was, you go visit and render services to all Kenyans. You don't need a constitution.
But both of you are the young. You're the new. I mean, I don't want to use the word the future leadership because it's now. You guys, it's your time, and yet you feel slighted because the deputy president spoke at a function and then the president came
and invited
someone else to speak. I mean, in this day and age, haven't we moved past that?
No, for us, by the way, the whole idea of allowing Prime Minister speaking, it's okay, but we must also adhere to standards, governmental standards of respecting institutions, which include the deputy president. But it's okay. We shall pray for those who disrespect the deputy president. We get good life.
Senator, it's the time. Why can't we change? Are we going to wait for, like America waited 240 years to be where it is? Do we have to?
You see, I remember even Professor, I forget his name, asking me about a book that I have written, the written constitution of Britain. Well, they don't have a written constitution.
No.
But they have traditions, usages, and things that they follow, and which have governed them for the longest time possible. Now, it's the fundamental question is, in a country like ours, whether we are that disciplined. Are we disciplined enough to say we actually don't need the constitution, that Kangata becomes president is from Muranga, and you make sure the first place that you build a road is Makueni? You see? We haven't gotten there yet. We are still tribal chieftains. We think tribal, we are myopic, we change political parties every 5 years, we move from Kieleweke to Tangatanga to this and the other and the other. So there's no discipline. And therefore, the supreme law maybe forms a good basis for minimum thresholds that we should all follow. And therefore, every other time, we must continue reviewing. A country like India has amended its constitution 400 times since 1948. And they are progressing. They are progressing well. So it's what we chose at the independence as a method of operation. If that is a method of operation, I don't see any problem with amending a document that is ours. We can even repeal it and start all over again because the document is still ours and still our country. But there's an element of discipline that we do not have, both in our politics, in our governance, and it's not going to come soon. It's not going to come soon, because that is the sort of tradition that we have adopted. Bad politics, tyranny of numbers, all those sorts of things that you hear during elections. Putting tribal fears. If you elect this person, is from another region, I mean, you will never get development. Tribal fears, those sort of things, and they are being preached everywhere. So I personally think that the gentleman has a point, and I said so. That is a good thing when you go to places where of people who didn't vote for you and they see development, yet they opposed you vehemently. But similarly, it should apply across the board, so that the people, we feel as if we belong. Everybody must feel as if we belong. We oppose government, we don't get as much development as Nyanza is getting. We feel shortchanged. We don't throw stones as much as our brothers would throw stones, but you feel when other people are getting roads, getting dual carriages, you don't even get a simple road in Makueni. It gives you a very bad taste in your mouth about what this country is about and what we are made of, and therefore now you insist, let's have rules of the game. If you're going to divide this cake, let's see how you are dividing it, because we don't the lack of trust, that you don't trust the person who would sit as president, who will not exclude certain regions, or will go and develop other regions based on whims and caprices, that sort of thing.
It's going to be tough.
No, for me...
Are we going to have to wait another 100 years?
No, for me, the problem is about the focus by leaders. How I wish we have a major focus on economic issues. Things like roads, the one he is talking about, ensuring that the entire Makueni County has good roads, has water programs. The healthcare is super class 1, supporting agriculture. But when you see leaders focusing on matters, creating positions for themselves, I don't know, prime minister, I don't know what, expanding parliament, to me is very inhuman. Particularly in this current situation where thousands of young people have no jobs because businesses are being closed. When you find the level of unemployment has gone up, when people are dying because of COVID-19, when you look at the kind of money we are appropriating for crucial sectors like healthcare, crucial sectors like agriculture, very little money that we are appropriating. But we can dare find money for amending the constitution, 14 billion to amend the constitution. And once we do that, there is no qualitative advantage that is going to be rendered on the poor Kenyans.
Solomon, I hope one day we'll grow up to see a different Kenya. Or maybe our children, our children's children.
Great-grandchildren, it will happen. But
in our lifetime? It
will happen in our lifetime. You and I will be old. But there is every possibility of a greater country called Kenya. If all this corruption in all the governments, including this one, has not, and this one is the worst, has not collapsed this country, I don't know what will. There's hope, because they have stolen, we are still here, and we are still going.
And we're still strong.
And we are still strong.
And there's corona.
So there's hope. Jeff, there's hope in this country, and we are a country of good people, hardworking people. We have to change the system. I've said, fix the way we manage our politics, and Kenyans will go to work. Kenyans will work, earn a living, go home, and the economy will improve. The sort of things this gentleman is talking about will happen. If we don't fix our politics, then it's a pipe dream. It's a pipe dream.
Yeah. And you know, countries like Switzerland, people don't even know who the president is.
They don't care.
They don't care.
But when a child is born in Switzerland, Jeff, they have $4,300 in their account credited. A child who's born in Kenya, in this current regime, you have a debt of almost 100,000 shillings at day one.
Good Lord. But there's hope.
There's hope.
58 years after Madaraka, there's hope.
There's hope.
There's hope.
Yes, definitely. I have no doubt that the new Kenya that we are fighting for will definitely make an effort to address some of those systemic problems.
In our lifetime, all of us? Or maybe you guys? Yeah.
Well, definitely. I think that's the whole struggle. And I like the new narrative that is now being discussed in this country. When you talk about the hustler nation.
Oh, my goodness.
No, it isn't.
You are doing so well until
you were doing so well. No wonder he wrote a letter.
No wonder I wrote a letter that leaked. He penned that letter and then leaked it.
You know, he's going so taratara.
Sure.
No, you see, no. Listen,
no
listen.
more.
No,
We're
it
done.
is important.
Let's leave on a high.
Yeah.
Let's leave on a high.
Yeah. Don't give this gentleman another opportunity, man, to pontificate on the
Okay.
No.
God.
The point is,
Yes.
let us compete as a country on issues. Let us not compete on personalities. Let our politics be organized on ideology instead of tribe. And I have no doubt that I'm now part of that conversation, that where I'm seeing people supporting a person who is not from their tribe. To me, that is progress. And when our children will be writing history one day, they will be saying so and so started that conversation of passionately supporting a person who is not from their tribe.
And by
That's
the way,
progress.
you're good friends, aren't you? Even though you criticize.
No,
him,
this guy, by the way, when I was at the university, his dad and himself, they were representing the university
students
to prosecute us.
No, Kangata, please be honest. You rioted. You were chased from university. I was representing a university.
Yeah,
after Kina Caleb and Karl Marx were thrown out.
Dynasty.
Listen, after they were all thrown out,
Dynasty.
Kangata sneaked into my office this one, and came to see me and pleaded with me
and begged you
to speak to the university so that he finishes his exams. This man has always been a crook.
No, imagine.
Is that true?
The University of Nairobi had expelled me.
Yes.
And together with our other comrades.
expelled you for what?
We were fighting for fairness,
So
fair
you-
treatment of public
You
students.
owe this man.
No, by the way, you know, we lost the case through corruption.
Apana, but
Yeah,
you
lost.
finished university.
No, after
You
Kibaki,
finished your university.
after Kibaki defeated Kanu regime, that's when we came back. Not
But
through
you
the
spoke to me.
Yeah.
You have not said you spoke to me.
No, I did, but we never got any remedy. Yeah, dynasty. Dynasty. I can tell you.
None of his colleagues
dynasty. Mo is
went
lawyer.
back to university.
No, we came back together, all of us.
Kina George Omondi,
we came back.
Marx,
We came back. We came back.
Irungu
No, no, no.
Kangata, and 40 others. Miscellaneous application number 40 of 2001.
Seriously. That's 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That is
That's
a
20 years ago.
Yeah.
You and the 40 thieves. I mean, the.
It was a main protagonist, this chap.
Serious.
Yeah.
No, we were fighting.
He's a rabble rouser.
No.
Rabble rouser.
By the way, that which we were fighting way back 20 years ago has been affirmed about 2 years ago.
All right.
They scrapped
Gentlemen,
module 2
that's some good
education
piece of history. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
You owe him at least a thank you.
No, he's my friend. He's my very good
Gentlemen,
friend.
good to see you.
Very
It was
good
a
friend.
pleasure.
Happy Madaraka Day
Yeah.
going forward.
Yeah.
And good luck. I mean, this is our country, like you said. We have no other country to go to. This is the only one.
Yeah.
We need to build it ourselves.
Yeah, yes, indeed.
Well done. Great conversation. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Keep tweeting at Koinange Jeff, at Citizen TV Kenya, the hashtag JKLive. JKLive every Wednesday from 9 p.m. right here on Citizen Television. Happy post-Madaraka Day, everybody. Good luck. God bless you all. God bless this beautiful nation of ours called Kenya. See you. I'm an Amagani, my friend.
Thanks. Yeah.